Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today's video is going to be a quick one on routine maintenance on this 2015 Dodge Grand Caravan SXT, but really it's any vehicle that's got the 3.6 liter Pentastar, either longitudinal or transverse installation. It'll be the same because we are just changing the engine oil and the engine filter. A lot of people will get a new vehicle or look at a new vehicle, do a quick YouTube search to see how to do some of the simple things. So I thought I'd contribute to that with a quick video on how to change the oil on this van and on this motor. And if you like the content, hopefully you'll subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And I've got a question for you about the content on the channel. If you hang around at the end, I've got a question. If you can answer that in the comments, I'd appreciate it. Here's what you're going to need to do the job. You need a pan to collect the used oil, some shop towels to clean up after yourself, a 13mm socket, a 24mm socket for the oil filter housing, or 15/16" socket, a ratchet, of course. You're going to need a couple of extensions to get to that oil filter housing on the top of the engine, a new oil filter, and then some 5W20 motor oil. Check your owner's manual, because depending on the age of your 3.6 liter Pentastar, it might be 6 quarts, might be 5 quarts. So double check. For this particular vehicle, it's actually going to take 6 quarts. And I'll leave a link in the video description for the oil and the oil filter. So I've got the vehicle up on jack stands because it's easier to get the oil pan under here and get your body under here to get it loose, but technically you don't have to. So the first thing you have to do is drain the old oil from the oil pan. The oil pan's right in the middle of the engine, so just slide your oil catch can underneath it to where the oil's going to drain. Get your 13mm socket on there. Might be pretty tight, especially if it's the first time doing it, and loosen it up. And it helps if you push the bolt in until it's all completely loose, and then just in one motion pull it away, and then be ready to adjust that pan if you miss, so that you don't get it all over the ground. And then you just let it drain while you go work on it up top. While that was draining, you can of course clean the bolt that goes in the oil pan, just get that all cleaned up. And also I forgot to mention that you want to have warmed the engine up at least for about 5 minutes or so to get that oil all nice and warm so it'll flow more smoothly. But also while this is draining, let's go up top and we'll remove the oil filter, change that. Now, this engine does not use the old school can type of oil filter, it's just the filter medium, and it also comes with an O-ring. You'll see why in a second. But it fits inside this, it's essentially an upside down cup here on the front of the engine, which is on the passenger side of the van because it's a transverse installation of the engine. But you just put your socket on here and unthread this cup, and it'll come out with the filter. But unfortunately, it's really hard to get to, at least with just socket extensions, because the air intake is in the way. So we are going to first remove the top of the air cleaner top box, fold that out of the way, and then we can easily get access to that top of that filter cup and remove it. With the filter removed from the vehicle, it's just a matter of grabbing onto the filter medium and giving that a good pull, and it'll pop out of that cup. And then take either a pick or a small bladed screwdriver and get this O-ring off of the cup, because you're going to replace it with the new one that came with the filter. Also keep in mind that there will be some oil at the bottom of this cup, so don't hold it sideways or turn it upside down unless you want an oil bath. Once the old filter's out, I just put it back in the box that the new one came in, and take it that way to the local Firestone, because they'll take the used filters and I can recycle it that way. Next, you're going to just get a little bit of that new oil and put it on your O-ring just to lubricate the O-ring, and then just slide it down on the housing for that filter and get it in place in the groove that the old one was in. You see the groove is right there. Let's work it all the way around, and now the cup is good to go. And to get the whole thing ready, you take your new filter media, just set it down on top of the cup and push it in. It'll pop into place, and that's all there is to that. And now it's ready to go back into the vehicle. So you might be wondering to yourself, why even bother doing this yourself? Why not just have Jiffy Lube or some other shop do it? It's not that much more expensive, and it takes about the same amount of time. Well, I'd argue you do save money, and if you do it yourself, you know it got done right. But one important reason is to do with torque on this oil filter housing. If you've done any research, you know that oil coolers and oil filter housings are notorious for breaking on these 3.6 liter engines.
The primary reason for that is that filter housing gets over torqued, and this is all plastic, and it breaks, and then you get lots of oil leaks, and you end up having to basically take all of the intake off in order to replace that housing, and it gets to be pretty pricey. So save yourself and don't over torque this filter housing. The torque spec is 18 foot-pounds, and in other videos you've heard me talk about my friend Gutentight. It's a German torque setting. You don't want to use that for this one. Just tight is fine. Get it snug, give it a little bit more of a turn till it's tight, and that's it. It's not holding pressure, it's not really doing any amount of strenuous work. Don't overdo it. Don't run the risk of breaking your housing. And certainly no more than 18 foot-pounds.
All right, and it's been about 10, maybe 15 minutes since we took the oil plug out. Been working on the filter housing, and now I'm going to go ahead and put the drain plug back in. And for this one, the torque spec is 20 foot-pounds. Again, just tight, not Guten tight, just tight. You do not want to strip these threads. You want it to seal, and you don't want it to leak, but don't strip the threads and the aluminum. That will make a big mess, lots of problems, really expensive to go fix. So get it tight, but again, not Superman.
The only thing left now is to fill the oil back up. You have replaced the filter, tightened that up, you've removed the old oil, put the drain plug back in, tighten that up. But the only thing left to do now is put your funnel in and fill up the oil. So there we go. I'm gonna go put 6 quarts in and then reset the change oil indicator. And I'll show you that next. To reset the oil change indicator, you turn the vehicle to on, not starting it, just on, and then depress the gas pedal quickly 3 times in a row. 1, 2, 3, then turn the vehicle off. And that's it. You've reset it, and now it knows that you have changed the oil. So all that's left now is to get the vehicle back on the ground, take that used oil, put it in a container so I can recycle it, and then you're completely done until the next time you need to change it. I change it every 6 months or every 6,000 miles, but officially follow your owner's manual. It probably lets you go longer than that, but that's how I do it. So on to my question about the channel. I've done a lot of these videos now, and I use a lot of different parts and materials across all of them. I leave parts information in the video descriptions, but I've had a lot of comments across the videos asking me about parts and what I use and things like that. So I get a lot of my stuff off Amazon, and I'm actually an Amazon affiliate, so I get a little bit of help to the channel if you buy things off those links. But more importantly, I can create a little shop where I put everything in one place that I've used across all my videos. So I've started to work on that, to pull everything across all my videos into one spot and kind of break it down a little bit. And I'll leave a link to that storefront in the video description and maybe up here in the corner for you guys to take a look at. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Is it a waste of time? Would anybody use it? Should I list things out differently? I don't know. It's all new to me, so I'm just asking for any thoughts. And along those lines, if you've watched this far, thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful. Give it a thumbs up. That really helps promote the channel. If you're interested in financially supporting the channel, you can buy something off Amazon, even if it's not any of my parts or anything like that. If you click through one of those Amazon links, then that'll even help me out a little bit. You can use super thanks as well, buymeacoffee.com, but really subscribe to the channel, all that stuff, but really just trying to help people out, give you some tips and tricks as we go. And hey, it gives me something to do because I have to work on these vehicles anyway. So I'll always take your comments and questions, try to get back to you as best I can. But until the next video, you guys take care. Thanks for watching and have a good one.